It's a pleasure to be here and an honor to be here to share our thoughts on this important question. I think the last few years have kind of shown us everywhere in the world that there's a need to actually transform education. We've actually seen a number of different shifts taking place over the last couple of years. The first one would be we see knowledge and skill sets people need for economic development will look different than they do today. Speaking firsthand, when I graduated from university, the company that I currently work for, the industry that I work in, didn't exist after tertiary education. So what is it going to be for the kids that are only starting primary education today? We've heard this, we're familiar with that theme. Secondly, the process of learning will become more personal and flexible in terms of how and where and when we learn. We definitely saw that during the most recent crisis that we've seen globally, but this isn't going to go away. Now that people have a taste for learning in different ways and in different paces and in different modalities, I think we're going to continue to see that. And thirdly, I think education ecosystems are going to have to look different. Particularly the role of teachers is going to have to change. Dr. Basile from the Arizona State University is actually leading an initiative called Education Reimagined, which recognizes, and I think this is common around the world, that there's a teacher shortage. In fact, this is not new either. In fact, countries have been trying to address teacher shortages for a couple of decades, and frankly, not much progress has been made to solve that issue. So perhaps what we need to do is reimagine what the ecosystem looks like. I think technology can actually play a role in all three of these areas. We obviously saw how technology played a role during the pandemic. We haven't really figured out how technology can play a role on reimagining the role of the teacher, though we're starting to see signs of that. Flipped classroom is kind of an old concept now, but it became reality during the COVID. Right, so there's a number of different ways that technology can play a role, and we think that we first have to start by recognizing that all these shifts are happening, and they're all happening at once. And then look at how we can apply technology to solve some of these issues. There's already, I mentioned that kids starting school today, we don't even know what their careers are going to be when they come out of high school or college. But the fact is there's already a shortage of skills for the current jobs in industry. Right? World Economic Forum estimates that 50% of people in jobs today are going to have to be reskilled in just the next couple of years. So I'll give you an example of how technology is helping to address that. Not to promote my company, but the Google Career Certificates were launched in recent years using technology, using online technology to make this kind of content, make these courses and certificates available to anybody anywhere in the world. So you can quickly become skilled in new areas without even having to have prior experience in those areas so that you can become relevant to industry today. So that's one example that we see around the world of how technology can play an important role.